Welcome to another edition of Maverick University. I'm your host, David Hallberg. Joining me today is Brother Matthew Stensaas, a missionary to Uganda, and has been a missionary in Uganda for 25 years. And so your silver anniversary on the mission field. Grew up on the mission field as well. Your dad was a missionary in several countries in Europe.
Yes, sir.
And so really has spent more time outside of the United States really than in.
Yeah.
And I think that gives you a really unique perspective into world missions, right, and a perspective of the ministry that most people don't have, myself included. And so I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure.
I want to talk with you a little bit about a topic that's not uniquely missions, but obviously your perspective on it is going to come from that viewpoint, just about all of the different facets of ministry, trying to make sure you've got yourself organized, you've got an iron in the fire over here, you got an iron in the fire over here,
Right.
You've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And who doesn't? People have their personal things that they've got going on. They've got, Christians have ministry things. They've got their personal walk with God. They've got extra projects here, make little side income here, side project there. And I just want to, see if you could just kind of walk us through some of the things that you're involved in ministry, personally as well. And then we'll get into the specifics of just organizing that. How do you make sure that you get first things first done, but also organize all the other things as well?
Okay. Maybe I'll just give kind of a generic weekly schedule of there in Uganda. We live in the town of Kasese.
Okay.
And the Lord has blessed us with a church in town and other ministries, other village preaching points up in the mountains, even some churches.
Okay.
And so maybe just a general week. Sunday morning we have Sunday school. Mm-hmm. Right now the men are teaching, but obviously we had to start doing it, and so I would teach Sunday school, and then I would preach the main service. Then after lunch or sometime in the afternoon, I would have discipleship with a family in the church. And sometimes we would have some other ministries for the church, but because I was doing discipleship, I could not always attend those ministries. Sometimes it was what we call fishing through footballing. It's a ministry where we take, the Ugandans love football.
Oh, yeah.
And so we would take that as an opportunity to preach the gospel. But because of the discipleship, I wasn't always able to do that. So either way, in the afternoon, it was either discipleship or it was those kind of ministries.
And the discipleship would take place on church property, or?
No, not necessarily.
No?
Sometimes at their house it would be.
Okay.
We don't normally have a Sunday evening service because of the situation with people there. They walk several miles to church.
Okay.
So when they leave church and they have to walk several miles home, then they get home and it's not microwave food or pick something up on the way home.
Yeah.
They have to start their fire, get their coals going, cook their food, and then you got to walk several miles back to church for a Sunday evening service. And so it would be more of a burden, you might say. And so we just have the Sunday morning service. We have Sunday school and Sunday morning, and of course Wednesday night, but we don't have a Sunday night service. Then Monday morning, I go to the police, and I preach to they call it a police parade, but it's more of an assembly.
Okay.
And the Lord's given us a great opportunity to preach to them and minister to them in several areas. And we've had a lot of people a lot of the officers have gotten saved in that, which has been a blessing.
Praise the Lord.
Then street parking ministry, these are guys that go around and put tickets on your window for parking. Not bad tickets, but you have to pay for parking. And so we've been able to go down every Monday and Thursday mornings and preach to them. And Lord has given us a good harvest there in that ministry. And then Monday night we have Bible college from 6 to 9 p.m. And we have that for 10 weeks in a row. We finish one course, so there's 30 hours in that course. And we do that 4 times a year. So that's Monday. Then let's see, Tuesday. Again, we have Bible college Tuesday night.
Okay.
So we have 2 courses in a week from 6 to 9. Wednesday, I go out to the village of Chinyayobio in the morning, and I teach Bible college all day out there because it's a different a group of people, and to bring them all in, it would be very costly. Also, it gets them used to you giving them money. So it's better instead of many coming in, for one to go out. And so I'll go out and teach them for 6 hours from 8 up to 3 o'clock. And then after that, we have the service there at the church in Chinayobio, and then we race back into town for our church service in town, because that's a town.
That's a busy day. Wednesdays are busy.
Right.
Wow.
It's a long day. It's a fun day. I love it. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Get to eat the local food, and there's a lady that fixes lunch, and I've tried to pay her, but she says, no, this is my service.
Wow.
And so Wednesdays is full. Then Thursday is kind of a visiting day, going around town, visiting people, making more contacts, things like that. Friday is family day. That's where I don't schedule anything. Obviously, things come up, a burial here or some crisis or something will come up, but I don't schedule anything on Friday. And so with the family, we do things around the house, honey-do list, things like that.
Absolutely.
Then we'll have like a picnic lunch, however my wife does it. And then in the afternoon, we'll play games, maybe on the Wii or something like that, just board games, whatever. And then my wife will make homemade pizza in the evening, and we'll sit down and watch some old movies together. And so that's our Friday. Friday Family Fun Day is what we call it.
Perfect.
We
That's
have a
wonderful.
great day. And then Saturday is sometimes we'll go up into the villages, up in the mountains. Sometimes that can be a whole day issue or time. And so then again, preparing for the next week and a lot of studying for all the Bible college courses. And so weeks can be pretty busy.
Yeah,
But,
so they're packed full.
Right.
There's not really a day where you're not doing something. Friday, obviously, is time off, if you will.
Sure.
But planning the family fun day is,
Right.
Work in and of itself. And,
Yeah.
man, that's just a long week. There's not.
Right.
So it sounds something similar to what, folks in ministry all across the world may
Absolutely.
experience.
Yeah.
And so I want to get into a little bit of the tools that you use to help yourself stay organized. Obviously, in fact, on my little notebook here, I am planning to be gone just on a little 24-hour trip with my wife, a little marriage retreat we're going to attend. And wow, I do a lot. And to get somebody to take my place, I realized then, there's a lot I've got going on. And so in order for you to be absent, there's a lot of things that you've got to, replace. And so what are the things that help you organize your time? I mean, when you've got these visits up in the mountain, how far in advance are you planning that trip? I mean, obviously that's what Saturday is,
Right.
but obviously maybe Friday or Thursday or Wednesday, a few days before that, you're thinking about that in advance and making some plans. And obviously everything you're doing, your college courses, what you're preaching.
Right.
When do you fit the preparatory time for that stuff in?
We do have a leadership meeting once a month where I will have my schedule of things that I've planned and then things for the ministry, and then we'll sit together with all the leaders and kind of go over what's happening this month and even some ideas or plans for future months that are not really set in stone, but they're ideas. And so we're able to kind of finalize everything that's going to be planned for that month. And that really helps out a lot. Obviously, things come up at the spur of the moment sometimes, but by having that meeting once a month with all the leaders in the church, that really helps kind of set that schedule so you kind of know exactly what you're going to do for that month.
Okay. And so, that helps plan long-term things.
as well.
I mean, that's stuff that doesn't even fit in the weekly schedule.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on furlough, as a missionary on furlough, organizing where are we going to be?
Right.
Who are we going to speak to? Did I call this pastor? When's the last time I talked to this pastor? What did I say to him? What did he say to me?
Right.
What system do you have in place to help you did you have help on deputation? Or you wish you had on deputation?
Right. Yeah.
And what are you currently using?
Well, because we know pastors here in America are scheduled way in advance. Some of them several years in advance.
Sure.
Some, they'll have you come next week. They have no plans. And so generally what we try to do is we try to schedule our meetings a year in advance. And so I'll send out an email to the pastor saying we're going to be in your area at a certain time. Would we be able to come by and report? Most of them are fine with it, and so I'll usually save that email in a file. Okay, this is for furlough 23, 24. And then I've got my own calendar that I keep where I write down in pencil if it's tentative. Then when it's scheduled, I'll write it in pen so I know this one is definitely on the books. And
Makes
then
sense.
every 3 month before that meeting, I'll send another email out just saying, just confirming if there's any change, let me know. And then even on my calendar, I'll put 3MC. like 3-month confirmation. And
Okay.
if it's there, I'll put it in green, highlight, so I know these are all set for sure. And then 3 weeks before that meeting, I'll give them a call. And so even on my calendar, I've got PC, whether it's I've got that phone call, and I'll put a tick mark by it so that I know I've contacted all the people.
So yeah, you went through your system, those 3 points of
Right.
contact.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Right. As a matter of fact, I need to do some emails now this month. So now
Yeah.
I will send all the emails out for May.
Okay.
Send all them out, just saying 3-month confirmation. We're going to be with you on this day.
Talk to me about just the evangelistic side of things and discipling. When you meet with people, are you meeting with the same folks every week on Sunday afternoons, or is it change from week to week? And how do you remember, what did we talk about last week? You know, I mean,
Right.
you're busy. I mean, you're not going to
Right.
remember everything. How do you track someone's discipleship? How do you track your soul winning contacts, meeting somebody for the first time? Oh, yeah, I want to follow up on them, and remembering to do that.
I don't know how I remember them all. I have to write things down.
Sure.
I noticed that. And
Yeah.
so I try to like keep 3 by 5 cards, and I'll write notes down, or I've got my iPad where I put notes. And
Okay.
that definitely helps, because if I don't write it down, I will forget.
Yeah, same here.
As far as discipleship, I don't have a lot myself now,
Okay.
because a lot of the people are doing it, which that's a huge blessing. At the beginning, I did it all.
Yeah.
But now that they are involved and they've been discipled, and now they're doing it, then it takes a lot off of me to have to do that. As far as evangelistic, you just go out and meet people. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We don't really have the door-to-door setting, because it's not set up that way in Uganda. But as we do our business in town, we're dealing with the hardware, we're dealing with the electrician or the supermarket, whatever, then we make time to talk with those people, get their names, get to know them, phone numbers, and then try to set a contact point later when we can visit with them.
I see. So what you're doing is, I mean, the American idea of door-to-door soul winning is not something that works
Right,
there. It's not
right.
customary. So you're building extra time into every one of your mundane
Right.
daily tasks. I've got to go to the store. And to the American, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to be back in 5 minutes.
Right.
That's not your goal at all.
Right.
I want to go to the store, and I might, try to strike up a conversation with a
Exactly.
fellow shopper.
Exactly.
Or the person checking me out.
We don't have I may lose support over this, but we don't have a specific soul winning day. We don't have a day that we're getting together, we're going soul winning. They do it every day.
Yeah.
As a part of their life. And every week we have visitors. Every week, because they've talked with someone. This is a friend who's seen the change in their life, and they've had a chance to talk with them through the week.
Sure.
And so it's life. It's not one day that we say, okay, I'm going to go soul winning this day, because then you have this mentality, well, I'm busy today, I'm not going to talk to them, I'll do it on Saturday. Well, what you may not get a chance to, or they may die before then.
Yeah.
A lot of scenarios could happen.
Yeah.
And so it's a part of our life. Every day, whenever we're out, we're looking for opportunities of how we can take whatever conversation we are talking to them about, how we can turn it and bring the Lord in and invite them to church and talk with them about the Lord. And so that's how it's life.
It's kind of dawning on me now, from what you said, that kind of even the premise of this conversation is very American.
Right.
Where I
Right.
got a
Cut and
schedule.
dried, yes.
This is my soul winning time. And I know we're supposed to be, every day spreading the word.
Right.
But so many times as an American, I'm scheduled. All right, I got to leave work at this time. I got to run by the store real quick, pick up something, get it home for the wife so she can cook dinner. I mean, my wife and I literally, we hadn't even risen from bed, but we were both awake and we were having this conversation. We're just going through the schedule for the day. And
Right. Yeah.
honey, you got to be off by this time. If you're not, we're not going to be able to make this appointment. And if we're
Right.
not making that appointment, then we can't be to the church in time for the mission center, which is very
Right.
high priority, of course.
Right.
and then, of course, then the church service. And so, I mean, if I were to go anywhere, I haven't built in that
Right. Yeah.
extra time. And I'm coming to realize that, man, I'm missing out on something.
Yeah, and
that-
Africa's so laid back too because of that. Here,
Yeah.
things are just you have to go, and we don't necessarily. Yeah, there are times when you got to be somewhere, you church or you have an appointment and you go.
Yeah.
But through most of the day, that's not the way it is, and so you are able to take that time and spend it talking with people and getting to know people.
So their default is, I'll get to it when I get to it.
Right. Yes.
American default is, I got to stay on schedule.
Right.
And then it's reversed.
They say Mzungu time. Mzungu is white man, and so they say white man time, meaning on time. Well, we tell them, look, Mzungus did not invent time. God invented time. And so they'll use that as an excuse to come to church late. Well, that's Mzungu time. No, it's God time. God invented time. But it's a lot more laid back there as far as scheduling and having to be so many places at once. You just try to get one thing done in a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about language acquisition, when you were first arriving on the field there, how did that factor into your schedule? And, how much time were you trying to focus on that? I mean, was that also learning the language as you go, going to the store as you run the errands?
Right. That's the time when you practice it a lot.
Yeah.
You try to throw words in there, and you always make mistakes, but that is how you learn, by practicing. If you're embarrassed by, I don't want them to laugh at me, so I'm not going to use it, you'll never use it.
Sure.
They're going to laugh at you, but they're not laughing because you made a mistake. They're happy that you have tried their language, and you're even just greetings. They're so excited. And so you have to put a lot of time into it. It's like a language school. Mm-hmm. In Uganda, they don't have language schools because there's so many languages.
Yeah.
So you have to get a tutor, which it's a little more difficult because you're not in that setting of a school a bit more.
It's a little bit more
but
casual.
You have to put a lot of time into it and practicing it.
Just to illustrate your point, I had a soul winning partner here at the college. He was an immigrant student from Mexico, and his English wasn't very good. And so naturally, as his soul winning trainer, and the kid already knew how to win souls, so I didn't really have to do much training. I just took him to an area of Elgin. I knew that I was not going to be able to talk to anybody. They were all Spanish speaking, and even if they did speak English, they weren't going to admit it, probably.
Right.
And so, I mean, he did all the talking. He won people to the Lord. This one young man, immigrant from Guatemala, just came to America 3 months prior. He became a member of the church, got saved, baptized, joined, and was faithful even long after this college student left.
Sure.
But I remember him teaching me a little bit of Spanish.
Okay.
And I remember knocking doors and stumbling through. And you could see that the people I was talking to, although they may not have been interested in even attending church, they were rooting for me. They're like, yes, you can do it. Come on, spit it out. You got it, And they were just so happy
that you've tried.
Just that I tried. And I don't know how many doors I was able to open, for my soul winning partner after I ran out of words, that he would then step in and have a greater opening to share the gospel with these folks.
It is.
So, well, I appreciate you coming in and talking with us about it. And it's kind of a paradigm shift, I think, in a lot of Americans' thinking about how we share the gospel. It's not just soul winning time, but maybe I build in the extra time. I know the trip to Walmart should take me 30 minutes, but I'm going to give it an hour.
Right.
Just to see what might happen as a result.
And the people the places you go every week, you can build on it from one week to the next.
Absolutely.
You're seeing certain people, you're getting their names. And it's not like you're going to give the gospel every single time, but you just keep adding on little by little. You get their name. Hey, can I pray for you for something? How's the family? How's this? And it's building relationships through time.
You're right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining. This was a big blessing.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And make sure that you check out our other episodes on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you like this video, that you comment, and that you subscribe to the channel as well, and share this with someone who will be benefited by it. Also, check out the audio-only platforms as well. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you.